MDE10 week 4 independent activity. Write as a fraction. Decimals, fractions, and percents. Write as a fraction. So I have it right here. I have 0.5. I wrote 0.5 as a fraction, 5 over 10. Simplified to 1/2. Question 2. Write as a decimal in numbers. 76 and 51 hundredths. Notice that the 51 hundredths, that's the hundredths place, so I start putting the decimal in there, and I have my whole part here on the other side. So I'll have 51 hundredths, 76, 51 hundredths. Part 3, question 3. Convert the fraction 7/3 to a decimal. So I divide 7 being divided by 3. And I take it out 4 times and round to 3 places. So it's 2.33. Number 4, write 2/9 as a decimal. So I divide it out. And it's repeating. So I have 0.222. Now question 5. Write 7 and 36 10,000ths. So I wrote out the places and what each one meant. So 4 places out is the 10,000th place. So I'll start putting my numbers in there and backfill it. So I have 7.0036, and that's my answer in decimal form. Right, 0.514 as a fraction. Reduce to lowest terms. So that 4 is in the thousandths place. So rather that's 514 over 1,000. They're both even numbers, so they'll simplify to 257 over 500. Right as a decimal here, they have 275 hundred thousandths. So I went out, marked my 100,000ths place. So I see tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, then I have 100,000ths. Then I backfilled it with 275 and put zeros there for placeholders, and that's my decimal form. Question 8. Fill in identify the decimals labeled with numbers, with letters A, B, and C on the scale below. So I counted out the spaces between 430 and 430.01. Okay, and I counted out 10 spaces. So the distance between them is 0.01, and I divided each one by 10, divided by 10 to see how much each space represented. So each space represented 1,000. 1,000th. Okay. So going up, each space where so I have 430.01, 0.01 here. Go up 1, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's your 430.14 there. Okay. 430.01. Okay. And then started from here, I can go 430. 001, 002, 003, 004, 005, 006, and it gives me A. Starting here and going down to thousandths gives me 429.999. So that's how I got those there. Question 9. Warren owes $450 on his credit card. He returns 2 items, one for $54.43 and the other for $53.13. He makes purchases of $34.92 and $31.53. What is the balance on the new card? So I started out with what he owed, and I treated the returns as credits to his account. Then he bought more stuff with it, which he owes now. So his current balance is $409.40. And that's the answer there. Question 10. Question 10. What is reciprocal of 0.8? Reciprocal of 0.8 would be 1 over 0.8. So I divided it out. I have 0.8 going into 1. So I shifted my decimal point. Now I'm dividing by a whole number. So I've got 8 going into 10. And it goes into a 1.25 times. So that's the reciprocal there. 1.25. Multiplying by 0.5 is the same as dividing by 2. So you can see I have 8 times 0.5, which is the same thing as multiplying by half, which is also the same as dividing by 2. And add to the numbers here. You add them as if they were whole numbers, putting in 0 placeholders. So when I put these in together, so when you add these up, line up the decimal points, line up the numbers in each place, put in 0 placeholders as needed, and you add them up. And that's what you get, like they were whole numbers. This one here, multiplying. Each time you multiply it by a power of 10, it makes it that much larger. So we multiply it by 10, it makes it larger by 10. You multiply it by 10 squared, which is 100. It makes it 100 times larger. So you can shift the decimal place to the right 2 times, make it larger. Multiply by 10 to the third, which is 1,000. Makes it 1,000 times larger. So you can shift the decimal point 3 times. And the last one is 10 to the 4th. Okay, makes it 10,000 larger, and you can shift the decimal place 4 times. Yeah, that's how you got that answer there. Five twelfths is equivalent to what percent? Round your percent to the nearest tenth. All right, so I set up a proportion there. 5 is to 12 as x is to 100 to find the percent. I can cross multiply and divide. So x is equal to approximately 41.7%. Number 15, right, that's a fraction. I set up my proportion. I can cross multiply and divide. And I end up with x is equal to 82%. And that's number 15. (125% of 120 is what number? So the part that comes after of is the whole. You get your percent there. And then what's left is the part. So I set up my proportion, and cross multiply and divide, and I end up with 150. Number 17, find the amount of tax and the tax rate. Round to the nearest hundredth of a percent. The amount of tax is going to be the selling price minus the cost of the item. So I have 149.86 minus 130 gives me a amount of tax to be 1986. So another formula there for the amount of tax. Once we know it, amount of tax is equal to the cost per item times the tax rate. Okay, so divide both sides by 130, and I get 15.28%, and that's the tax rate. And that's number 17. This one here, find the amount of simple interest. So I wrote out earn for depositing the given principal in the account. So I wrote out my formula. I is equal to PRT, where T must be represented in years for the formula to work. In this case, P is 6,700, R is 5.5%, and then I have here T is 4 months. So I describe T as a portion of a year, in this case 4 over 12. And I plug into my formula, and I end up with $122.83. And that's the answer to number 18. And that's the last one.